How's it going, guys? My name's Dice. I'm a top 27 1v1 player in SSL, and I'm going to show you guys all the flicks that you need to rank up and reach SSL. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying that knowing these flicks won't just automatically make you better than all the opponents. You have to be able to use these at the right times and understand what flicks are good for what situations, etc, etc. But before we get straight into the video, I want to thank you guys for all the love and support you've given my channel recently. It really does go a long way. If this video helps you out at all, please be sure to like and subscribe. Let's get into it. So first things first, for me personally, there's about 2 to 3 flicks I'll use, not including, just fun free play flicks like the Musty flick. Like, I'm not really counting that. I'm just counting comp things. And the flicks I use are a high flick like this, not built to score, but they're just used to get it over opponents. Whoops, that one's not great. Like, they're just used to get it over opponents by just hitting it really high. And then I do a power flick like this, which is built to score. It's meant to hit pretty much as hard as possible. And you'll notice that these are usually pretty quick, but obviously I'm not a perfect player, but I mean, these are pretty consistent, pretty fast flicks. And this tutorial has been long awaited, and the reason I haven't made it yet is because honestly, like, flicks are pretty hard to teach. It's a lot of, practice and timing on where to put the ball and when to jump and when to do a lot of things. But you'll see, I mean, it's very consistent on these flicks I'm doing right here. So hopefully by the end of this video, you can kind of get where I'm at. Just being honest, it's not going to be entirely that easy because, I mean, I have thousands and thousands and thousands of hours in this game. And I mean, yeah, so let's get into it. So for the high flick, there's 2 different ways to do it, right? There's this way, which what I'm doing here is I'm doing a camouflage 45 flick. So what it looks like without the ball is I'm doing this, and then I'm doing a flip like this. So 45 flick is like this, but what I'm doing for this one is like a fake 45, and then I'll have it on the back of my car, and then I'll pop it like that. And it's very high. It's easier the slower you're going, because the faster the ball is, the further up on your car it's going to be. But that's basically the main idea, is just hitting it on the back side of your car. And it doesn't look that high like when I'm going full speed like this, but it actually is really high, and it's difficult for the opponents to reach it. So yeah, that's the first way to do it. The second way to do it is honestly just by doing like a flip. So like just flipping like this. I know it seems really basic, but like just your normal front flip or like a side flip or really any kind of flip, it's gonna have a pretty decent height attached to it. It's a pretty big habit for me to do flicks like this. So like I might have just said like the flip and then I did the first one I showed, because this is pretty much the main one I do. But if someone's reading that I'm doing that same flick over and over, I'll change it up sometimes to maybe like a front flip flick. A good thing about a flick where you flip it up like this is it's going to get 2 quicker, so you can challenge again, because you'll be closer to the ball than they will, helping you flick in the correct position. So yeah, that's basically it. I'm pretty consistent at this too. I'm pretty consistent at all the flicks, but once again, I have lots of hours. So yeah, that's how you do flick for height. So for the 45 flick for power, it's much more difficult to explain than the one for height, because the one for height is super simple. It's very easy, but the one for power really isn't. So the idea is that you want it on the wheel of your car. That's the easiest way to do it, because your wheels generate the most power when you're hitting things. Like example, if I'm like going like this and then I flip into it with my wheel, or jump into it with my wheel, it's going to have a lot more power than really any other option I could have. So that's the idea, is just to hit it on your wheel, which that's actually a main reason why I use the Esper, is because the flicks are so deadly, because I can just see where it is on the wheel and I can just put it there. And so, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much the idea. I'm actually going to pull out the Fennec or the Octane just so I can give you guys a better idea of what it would look like for you guys, because I know a lot of people don't use the Esper. And I'm actually kind of scared that I'm not going to be able to get the flicks good in this car, because I actually don't really know how to do it exactly. So yeah, it doesn't look as fast, but I mean, it's the same idea. I'm still getting in the 100 kph. It's much harder to do flicks in the Fennec, but if you know how to flick, you know how to flick. So it's pretty much the same idea. That was a really powerful one. It's hard because I kind of have to like guess where my wheels are on the car, because I can't really see my front wheels. But you'll notice I can still get it very powerful. And so the idea is just imagine where your wheels are, right? Like, so for the Fennec. So right here, I know my wheels are like on this very edge, and it looks like I'm putting it on the edge because the corner of my car is the power, but it's really because the wheels have the power. So I'm looking for the corner of my car, and then I'm flipping in that direction. And I do have my controller cam on, so if you guys want, you could just copy my exact inputs. And yeah, so here, look for the corner, flick it there. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all there is about the power flick. It's much more difficult in this car than it is in any other car. I'm going to try out the Octane real quick, just to see what that would look like. This is a decent car. This looks a bit weird, but yeah, it's actually way harder in the Octane. That's a decent flick. That's a decent flick, but yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the idea. I'm not going to go like way too in depth. The reason this section of the video is super long is because this flick is by far the hardest flick. And yeah, that's why I'm trying to go in depth with it, because this flick took me, you know, a long time to learn. Actually, all the flicks are harder in these cars, but I mean, you can still see that, like, obviously I can still do all of the flicks. It's just more difficult based on the car you're in. So yeah, that's basically the idea. I'm gonna go back to my other car and continue this video. So back in the Esprit here, I've covered the two main flicks, the flick for heights and the flicks for power. Now, there's another like genre of flicks that aren't really as important, but like there's flicks you can do like this. Whoops. There's flicks you can do. I don't know why I can't do it. There's flicks you can do like this, which kind of, there's a lot of ways to, you know, kind of set yourself up. So if you do a flick like this could set your teammate up middle, or it could just do other things like that. But then there's just other flicks where, you know, maybe you side flip so you can give yourself a power shot opportunity. Maybe there's flicks where you just do this and then you jump for another shot. I'm whiffing because I have 6 hours past 2 weeks. And yeah, I mean, that's honestly pretty much the full video, if I'm going to be honest. That's just the main flicks I do. I'm obviously way better at flicking in this car than I am in the Fennec and the Octane. So if it looked like I was pretty bad at flicking when I was trying to show you guys in the other cars, it's probably because I don't ever use those cars. But I do use them occasionally to try to explain things better. And yeah, that's pretty much the video. If this video helped you out at all and it provided anything insightful, please be sure to let me know down in the comments below. Also, feel free to comment any future videos or tutorials you guys would like info on. If you join my Discord server, there's a chance I'll do a replay review on your replay. And yeah, we have a pretty dope community over there. See you on the next one. Peace.